All right, guys, are you guys ready to get political here? Because I am. Anyways, this is the first topic of the night. So this is about to be a couple weeks ago. I think enough time has passed where I can talk about this in a nice and nuanced take about this. But yeah. So this is Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is one of the biggest political talking points in conservative and right wing media. He I guess his name. I guess I basically said it himself. Charlie Kirk is like a political commentary YouTuber that talks about politics and mainly is like pro Trump, pro right wing, and all that shit. That's who Charlie Kirk is in a nutshell. Now, a couple weeks ago, Charlie Kirk has been shot while attending, like, doing one of his, like, debates on his, like, doing, like, one of his college student debates. And say what you want about the whole college student debating, him going to colleges and debating kids. Me personally, I feel like that's a good thing because college students are like what? Student kids developing humans. I believe that you should like this Charlie Kirk being there and saying all this shit tests your beliefs and tests what you really stand for and what you believe for. And I think it's a semi good thing that he's doing that shit. But at the same time, I'm not gonna sit here and glaze Charlie Kirk. I just did that, but I'm not gonna sit here and like pretend that Charlie is this awesome guy that people should be listening to. Me personally, I don't like Charlie Kirk's politics. His politics suck, and frankly, the shit he says on the internet is pretty unhinged. I think one time he said that Palestinian kids like deserve to die or some shit. Like, I think I've. Hold on, let me fucking find this shit. Yeah, Charlie Kirk, the same person that said that Palestinian kids deserve to die. Yeah, that's basically what I heard. And also, I think he also said something about like he would make his daughter like give birth to a baby regardless if it was like a rapist that impregnated her and something like that's horrible, dude. Yeah, so I don't like Charlie Kirk's politics. I think his politics suck. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that he's a good person, but I'm also not gonna sit here and pretend that like his life is like meaningless because at the end of the day, this is a man who lost his life over what he says on the internet. Let me just give you a rundown. Charlie Kirk is not a political like he is a political content creator, but he is not like a political like figure in like America that's gonna like change your life. He's just a YouTuber, a rage baiter. I don't even call him a rage baiter because he believes all the shit he says. But yeah, Charlie Kirk is just a podcaster. You can just like what not listen to him at all. But someone went out there and decided to shoot the guy because they didn't like his politics, and that's disgusting. And I see people on TikTok and people on the internet are celebrating his death too. That's disgusting too. Like, I don't know what type of sick joy you get out of this. Like, at the end of the day, like, this is a man who lost his life. His daughters are now going to grow up without a father. His wife is now going to, be a single parent now. Like, I'm thinking about his wife and kids throughout this thing. You guys are just thinking about internet drama or how like this betters your political world because you realize killing Charlie Kirk isn't gonna do shit. Because Charlie Kirk again is not a political figure. He doesn't go. He is not a gun lawmaker that goes out there and makes decisions that affects your life. You clearly just shot somebody for the fuck of it. You clearly just shot somebody for the fuck of it. But yeah, my final thoughts on Charlie Kirk. I don't like his politics. I don't think he's a really good person, but I also don't think his death should be celebrated. His death should not be celebrated, and the people on TikTok going on TikTok celebrating his death and shit like that, that's disgusting. And I don't feel bad for whatever bad thing happens to you. I do not like whatever bad thing happens to you out there. I don't feel bad for you at all. But yeah, my final thoughts. Charlie Kirk is like not a good person, but his death should not be celebrated. Yeah, so that's my take on it. I'll leave it at that. If you guys have any questions, I'll probably answer it in the comments if I post this VOD. But yeah, we're gonna take a deep dive into the whole Charlie Kirk assassination by this YouTuber right here. Let's get it.
On September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck and killed. Thousands of people, including his wife and children, saw him die right there.
Oh, that's horrible too. His wife and his children saw him die. Dude, when the video first came out, I immediately knew bro was not gonna survive that. That shot was so fatal. He was not. I already knew he was dead.
Swarmed was possibly one of the biggest responses from media ever. TV and social media could not shut up about this. One side of the world was mourning, the other side celebrating. Some people were saying this is a national tragedy. Other people...
Yeah. By the way, I don't know what shooting a content creator that holds different political views from you does, other than just prove that your side is just shit.
People were saying this was a big victory for the world. Some people compared his death to that of Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King. Other people compared his death to that of Hitler. Some people were criticized for mourning his death. Other people were criticized for not being sad enough. How could a man's death create such an intense divide amongst the country?
And the worst part of this happened on September, I think he already said it. This happened on September 10th, which is the day before the anniversary of 9/11, where everybody was supposed to be united, where everybody as a country is supposed to be united, is now divided into political parties, one side's better than the other, that type of bullshit. It's fucking crazy, dude. And there was also a school shooting that day too, and my heart goes out to those kids too.
This situation may be the start of a conversation that we don't want to have, but need to have. So let's cut the bullshit and get right into it. Okay, first off, I know I'm a little late to this topic, but there was a lot
I'm late as hell to this topic too.
I had to say, and I really wanted to make sure that I gathered all my thoughts. I know so many of you want me to make a long form on the David situation. Believe me, by the time you are
We're gonna check out the David stuff too, don't worry.
seeing this video, I'm already making it. I got a lot of shit to say for that. So bear with me, people. I'm just one guy. Now, for those that don't know, Charlie Kirk is a right-wing political activist who has spent his entire life spreading conservative ideas.
View that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act.
Just a tiny bit controversial.
Let's go to this.
No, I think he's very controversial. All the shit he says is kind of crazy.
Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them.
Okay, maybe decently controversial.
So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped, and she was gonna give birth.
Oh yeah, this is the clip that I found disgusting.
And she would and she was gonna give birth and she was gonna live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
But it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Oh.
Yeah, I do not agree with that fucking shit. That's fucking abusive, in my opinion.
Okay, great. So that's insane.
But let me tell you why. No, hold on. Let me ask you a question.
Okay, he was pretty damn controversial.
He's very controversial.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year. So,
oh my god, no. This comment right here is biting him in the ass so hard because he got killed by a gun. And he basically said that the people who died, I guess it was kids. I keep using kids, so goddamn fuck me. But people who victims of school shootings or victims of shootings are a sacrifice to the Second Amendment. Charlie Kirk has a lot of dumb shit. Charlie Kirk has said a lot of dumb shit that I can't even grasp it all in one memory. I see this clip and I just remembered. Holy shit. I forgot he even said that.
That we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
You get the point. Charlie was a staple Republican figure whether you liked him or not. At the age of 18, Charlie founded the company Turning Point USA, which was this nonprofit organization that was dedicated to spreading conservative ideas on high school and...
That's crazy. Bro's hustling at 18 years old.
college campuses. Now, this was founded when he spoke at Benedict University and caught the attention of entrepreneur Bill Montgomery. Seeing his potential, he gave Charlie $10,000 to start the entire company and told him to ditch college. Just out of high school,
Ditch college?
Charlie started to debate anybody from students to college professors. This organization became one of the fastest growing organizations ever on a college campus. Now, this organization became one of the fastest growing campus chapters in America. Suddenly, Charlie was everywhere in the news and was speaking at the 2016 Republican National Convention. That's a pretty big deal. He even worked directly with Donald Trump Jr. for the 2016 election. Suddenly,
Holy shit, I did not know Charlie Kirk was like this successful. I hate the guy, but fucking, I guess, applaud him for it.
by 2017, Turning Point USA raises over $8 million, and Charlie becomes a name. He starts to record his debates and post them on YouTube, where he gets basically endless content. In 2018, he went viral for the very first time, posting one of his infamous takedowns.
So, Charlie, I have a question for you. You've
Is that Hassan Piker?
talked about the liberal bias in academia.
Yes.
What are the incentives behind that? Like, why did, in your perspective, why did that come to be?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, and it's undeniable that professors are tilted far to the left. An independent study showed that professors 12-1 are registered Democrat versus Republican.
Why? Is it because they don't have jobs at Goldman Sachs? Maybe get the
Well,
Goldman Sachs
again, let me
employees to
finish
be
it.
professors.
Well, no, it's
That's
actually
Charlie,
so if
Goldman Sachs, maybe
Did he get owned here?
get the
well,
Goldman Sachs
again, let me
employees to
finish
be
it.
professors.
Well, no, it's
That's
actually
Charlie,
so if you insult conservatives, I'll insult liberals. It's because conservatives are more likely to go make a bunch of money and liberals aren't. So you want to get to there, we'll say that.
So that's
This content starts to resonate
I don't know who got owned in this clip.
with people, and Charlie gets a lot of attention. So he doubles down. He teams up with other people like Candace Owens
Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, two other right-wing content creators.
and starts to tour all around the country debating kids. He always posts the clips to YouTube, and almost every single time they would
Again, say what you want about, you can shit on him for that. I feel like it's honestly like a good thing in my opinion, because this could, challenge kids, the developing brain to, I guess, I wouldn't call it developing brain, but this could challenge, college students to, stand up for what they believe and, challenge them to, I guess, see if they actually believe the shit they believe in.
start to go viral. And over the years, Turning Point USA becomes one of the biggest Republican organizations ever, raising over $130 million just
Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Holy shit.
last year. But in politics, you don't grow without controversy. And Charlie got quite controversial. But the same controversy also helped him gain quite a cult following. And it was during the election that things become bigger than ever. Now, the election season is prime for political content. For a person like Charlie who goes viral for controversial takes, this is a gold mine. His debate starts to really take over the YouTube algorithm, and he would get the opportunity of a lifetime where he was featured in the Jubilee video, Can 25 Liberal College Students Outsmart One Conservative? In this video, he debates against 25 20-something
Holy shit.
year old college kids. They talk about abortion, transgender people, DEI, the whole king and caboodle. The clips of this go extremely viral in both good ways and bad ways. This video didn't really change anybody's opinion, but only further encouraged them. If you were a Republican, you'd think Charlie won this video. If you were a liberal, then you think the college kids won this video. And this was really when Charlie started to become big, whether you liked it or not. At least this was when I first heard about him. He was more successful than ever, but also was more controversial than ever. Suddenly, he was always getting some type of backlash from liberals for any type of tweet he would make. But that
I mean, isn't that what every political figure gets controversy regardless of what they say?
That's what he wanted, and it worked. As business kept coming in, Charlie kept doing more and more tours, and soon enough, he would do the last one of his career. In 2025, Charlie announced the American Comeback Tour. This was his usual tour where he would go to college campuses and debate against college kids. His first stop was at the University of Utah, a
Oh yeah, this is where we're all caught up now.
state that recently has actually become red. And at first, it was just another day at the office. He was debating against a student about transgender shooters, something that he usually debates about. But then, out of nowhere, a bullet
Yeah.
was fired and struck his neck. The gunshot came from the front of him 142 meters away. Initially, the very first video that went viral showed
Holy shit, that's far fucking as hell.
a very wide view, and at first it seemed like he was actually going to be okay. But if you saw the second angle that was much closer, you knew that there was no way he was surviving that. But I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was no warning or nothing, just bang. He was brought to the hospital in critical condition with people like Donald Trump and JD Vance hoping for his recovery. It was
To be fair, Donald Trump posted some like AI ass video after Charlie Kirk died. It was fucking gay as hell.
the same voice, Donald Trump, who announced on the Truth that Charlie Kirk passed away
The great and even legendary. Oh god.
at 31 years old. The chaos that ensued right after this happened was
Bro's so young.
pretty insane. There were a lot of arrests made to try and find out who killed him. Initially, they arrested this guy who looked like Larry David because he claimed to be the shooter. And at the time, that's what everyone thought. Turns out it wasn't him. He was later charged with
He did. I was about to bring that up. He did end up getting arrested actually because he had, CP on his phone or something.
obstruction of evidence and also was found with child porn, which is a whole story in of itself. Apparently the guy had a lot of mental issues. A few hours later, police claimed they found a person of interest, and it seemed like this was the guy, but later it turns out that was not the guy.
Yeah. By the way, cops are putting more effort into finding the Charlie Kirk shooter than they are with school shootings and shit. How crazy is it, y'all?
The people and the police wanted answers, and the fact that they did not find anybody within just a few hours was actually insane. Yeah, it was only a few hours, but this felt like weeks. The police eventually shared a picture of another suspected.
This looks like Augie RFC. If like, holy shit, this low-key looks like Augie RFC. Bro, what times have fallen, bro. Augie RFC is now like, man.
Shooter and off.
Bro fell off so hard he was gonna shoot Charlie Kirk.
For the public $100,000 to anyone who can give them any information. They know this because there were videos of this guy escaping from the very roof from where Charlie was shot. The fact that it even went more than a day was actually crazy. When the police couldn't find the shooter, the internet did what it does best and created a lot of theories. Some of them ridiculous, some of them not as ridiculous, to be honest. There was one theory.
What?
That the Israeli government did it because Benjamin Netanyahu actually posted 8 minutes before Charlie getting shot that he was praying for Charlie. And even though Charlie was always on Israel's side, apparently he had become more critical of the country recently. Now there
Was he?
was misinformation surrounding this because Benjamin Netanyahu did post he was praying for Charlie, but that was after the news came out about him getting shot.
Oh, so that was completely fabricated.
So no, he didn't know beforehand that he was going to get shot. So from what I know, Israel doesn't have anything to do with this. Another theory that came up was the fact that the government did this to try and distract the public from the Epstein files getting blocked.
Okay, that would not do shit if that was true. That would not do shit. Let's say, alright, Charlie Kirk gets shot, boom, everybody talks about this. Then the Epstein files gets blocked. Everybody is going to immediately forget about Charlie Kirk and then move on to the Epstein files and be like, the Epstein files?
The exact same day that this happened, the Republican Senate voted to block the Epstein files from getting released to the public. Pretty suspicious. And it's safe to say
Didn't Donald Trump promise the Epstein files if he won the presidency? Didn't he promise to release the Epstein files and all that shit? Huh. Crazy how, a man that lies, his lie turns out to be another lie.
the public was distracted because, who was really talking about the Epstein files? Did you see any media releasing any reports about that? Probably not. Now, one of the eeriest ones that I saw so far was the fact that this book, The Shooting of Charlie Kirk, was released the day before this
1-star review.
all happened. This book went super into detail of how he got shot, where he got shot, and the aftermath of it. And it got a lot of the details very, very accurate.
Maybe that shooter wrote it.
When people pointed this out, Amazon changed the publication date to September 11th, the day after it happened, but people
Why 11th? Why not September 13th or 12th?
saw that they changed this. And so right after that, Amazon took down the book as a whole. Not suspicious at all. Now,
Charlie with a CHAR without an E.
To be realistic, this most likely was made after he actually died, and somehow they bypassed the system to make it appear like as if it was published the day before he got shot. And let's be real, most likely this book was written using AI. Like, come on, let's be realistic, people. And in terms of how realistic the Epstein theory is, I'll leave that up to the internet because I don't want the government to put a bullet in my head. And the
Oh. By the way, all what I just said about the Epstein shit is a joke, by the way. Please don't put a bullet over my head.
government doesn't really have a lot of limits.
And remember, kids, the next time that somebody tells you the government wouldn't do that, oh, yes, they would.
But let's look at what we actually
Is that Windigoon? I think I know that guy.
know, which is the shooter. The person who was actually arrested, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Apparently, the photos released by the FBI eventually reached back to his family, and Tyler would confess to his dad. His dad later encouraged him to actually turn himself into the police, and he would agree to do so. And in case anyone was wondering, I don't think this qualifies a dad to get $100,000, which is a damn shame. He was actually a
Poor bro.
student at the University of Utah as he got a full merit scholarship. He had a 4.0 GPA in high school and was in the top 1% of test takers for the ACT.
Guys, he was also Mormon. He's a nice and humble man. A nice, humble Mormon man.
Getting a 34 out of 36, which is a crazy big score. I did not get nearly that high of a score when I took it. However, he dropped out only after one
Guy's smart.
semester. Now, why he dropped out when the opportunity was literally handed to him, who knows? He later went to Dixie Technical College for an electrical apprenticeship, but the reason he shot Charlie is a bigger mystery. Now, shooting someone like Charlie obviously is inspired by your radical political views. Let's be real here. Like, why?
Yeah, why? What other intention do you have to fucking shoot Charlie Kirk other than just political views?
Why else would you do it? According to the family, Tyler had recently become very, very political in recent years. Tyler's entire family is hardcore conservative Republican. I mean, it's Utah, so
Yeah, I was about to say, and that was crazy it happened in Utah. I was like, aren't people in Utah red? Team red?
not a big surprise. Trump supporters, truck drivers, gun shooters, the whole kit and caboodle. But apparently Tyler had grown a big distaste for this type of lifestyle
Mountain hikers.
and views over the years. He became a lot more left-winging and also much more supportive of LGBTQ rights. One of his family members distinctively remembers him expressing his distaste for Charlie Kirk during dinner one time, and it was these very, very different beliefs that made Tyler distance himself from his family.
Which is totally a reasonable distaste of Charlie Kirk, by the way.
Now-
He says wild shit.
Recently, Tyler actually had a transgender roommate that he also was apparently in a relationship with. Apparently, Tyler was also into furries. That's also another thing. I
What the fuck?
don't really feel like getting into all that, but you get
Please don't.
the idea. Now, this transgender roommate fully cooperated with the authorities when all of this news was coming out. One of the text messages that Tyler sent this roommate was his need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the areas where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. This towel that the rifle was wrapped in was actually what the police used to identify Tyler as the shooter, because it had his DNA on it. They even
Oh, God.
found messages of Tyler in a Discord group chat, and when the news was coming out, a lot of these members jokingly talked about how Tyler looked exactly like the guy. Tyler joked about how this shooter was simply his doppelganger and how they should turn him in to get a cut of the money, obviously trying to joke around to ease off suspicion. But when his family found out, Tyler confessed to the group. Hey guys, I have bad news for you. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thank you for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything. Discord suspended his account pretty shortly after. The bullets that Tyler used actually each had their own message engravings. One said, "Hey fascist, catch." Another one said, "Oh Bella Ciao." And my personal favorite, if you're reading
If you're reading this, you're gay. That's... Dude, it's fucked up to laugh at Charlie Kirk's death, but having that written in a bullet, you've been shot by that bullet? Oh my God, bro. If I was Charlie Kirk, I'm fucking pissed that I got shot by a total gook. A total geek.
you are gay, Lamau. Quite a sense of humor. The closest that we ever got to a direct explanation for why Tyler did it was when he texted his roommate. I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Charlie had a lot of views that were definitely very controversial amongst the LGBT community, so it's pretty safe to say that this is one of the main things that fueled this, but it's hard to say for sure. There's something about these sort of vigilante shooters that really is a mystery. These guys who do something that may seem good, but in reality has a lot of negative consequences to it. Look at Luigi, for example. Before
Yeah, wasn't Luigi like also like a good person? Not, I wouldn't say he's not a good person now, but like, isn't he like living that life?
the instant, he seemed like a totally normal guy, but
Yeah, and now he's like what? A political object.
something changed in him over time that made him much more malicious. But who knows what that is? Now, when the news first was reported, it was extremely divided. Many of his supporters mourned the death of a person that they idolized, while his haters threw confetti and cheered. There were really a lot of people who just had no shame shitting all over Charlie, and almost all these people had noticeable similarities in their political views.
Charlie Kirk's death doesn't change how disgusting of a person he was. I mean, that's true, but again, you shouldn't be celebrating the death either because, again, he has a wife, he has kids too. I understand he says some dumbass bullshit, but hey, whatever.
People felt like this was a win because now there was less hate in the world, that a man who was racist and homophobic now was off the face of the earth.
Which, keep in mind, guys, Charlie Kirk doesn't do shit to fucking change your life. He's just some gay podcaster. You could literally block him on TikTok or on YouTube. Like, this whole shit wasn't, like, you don't need to watch. Nobody is holding you at gunpoint watching Charlie Kirk. The only person who's probably watching Charlie Kirk is you.
And maybe because of social media, that may have seemed like the way that everyone felt, but in reality,
Yeah, social media is toxic as fuck, bro.
this was not the majority opinion. Many big people and influencers expressed their disdain for such an event. Jay Leno, Bill Ackman, Dwayne Johnson's daughter, so many people came forward and talked about how they thought that this was a disgusting act. Even the Hawk Tua girl spoke out, which,
I mean, isn't the Hawk Tua girl like the builds, like your average build of a Republican woman? The fucking Texas voice, the yeehaw voice, all cowgirl shit, and yeah, doesn't she like represent isn't she like the eradication of like every fucking Republican?
which is something I never thought I'd say. People of all spectrums and all sides came together to talk about how awful this was. The most surprising ones that spoke out were Dean Weathers and Naima, who were actually in the Jubilee video that made Charlie go so viral. Both of them talked about how bad this was for our country, and both of these guys have built a platform expressing just how bad people like Charlie Kirk were for the country.
Yeah, that's crazy. Even, I mean, I feel like it would hit home to them, mainly Dean Withers, because Dean Withers, I guess you could say he does the same thing Charlie Kirk does, but, you know, more left wing and more left leaning and more, you know, democratic shit. And, you know, it has you really thinking. Like, let's say it has other content creators who are in the same space when it comes to like politics. They have them thinking like, damn, like, what if that was like me? Like, what if some crazy right-wing person that just wants to shoot me one day because they don't like what I say? Like, you know, that has you thinking. That has them, you know, thinking, you know?
Country.
I don't think this is a good thing at all. I'm really concerned about what this means for American democracy, which is already fragile enough. The point of democracy is to create a moral code, a social contract that mitigates political violence and chaos. It's not flawless, it fails many, and in that case, outrage and protest are more than necessary.
Charlie Kirk is dead. He got shot at an event that he was hosting in Utah. And I am sad, distraught. In fact, I just cried on my live stream in front of 250,000 people.
When he found out.
If you want to end gun violence, it is something that you can never celebrate. It is always disgusting, always vile, and always abhorrent. It should come as no shock to yourself when I tell you that I think Charlie Kirk was a bad person. I've made that very clear over the last year.
Yeah, like, Charlie Kirk is not a good person.
But does that mean I think he deserves to lose his life? No. Does that mean I think his 2 young children, who were in attendance at the event where he was shot, deserve to watch their father die? No. And honestly, if you answered yes to any of those questions, there's a very clear line drawn between me and you. We as a collective need to end gun violence. And if that phrase is negotiable for you, I believe that you're in the wrong.
If anyone has hated Charlie, it was these guys. So it shows just how much they really meant it. Perhaps the saddest video that came from all this was
His wife.
Charlie's wife, Erica. So how did the public respond to what people said? Well, it seems like there was no way to win. If you said his death shouldn't have happened, people accused you of being racist and homophobic.
Which is fucking insane. Like, God for, like, Jesus.
You said that he deserved to die, you were called an extremist and heartless. Daisy
Which is also extreme to say that you're happy he's dead.
Yerger, a fitness influencer who helped fund the Hype House, actually received a lot of backlash for expressing how bad this was. So unfair that such an amazing man has been taken out like this. It
Okay.
breaks my heart. Thank you, Charlie, for everything you've done for our country.
I think I can see why people are mad. You call him an amazing man. Like, this is kind of, you gotta, if you don't want if you don't want to get backlash for, I guess, you quote mourning Charlie Kirk's death, the least you can do is just say, hey, Charlie, whatever you, the best thing to say when Charlie Kirk died was, hey, look, I understand you don't believe what he says. I understand he says a lot of fucked up shit that you might not believe in, but this is not right. But no, this is kind of straight. This girl's straight up glazing this man. Like, I see why she kind of got backlash.
So much love and sympathy to his family. Please pray for him. Her responders claim that this was selective empathy. You lost me with that bullshit. Very out of touch with reality. Never spoke about gossip, ICE, any person of color, injustices. Yeah, I don't give a fuck what you have to say. That hateful man is looking up at us.
I spoke about ICE. Not on stream, but I made a couple posts on Instagram about how ICE is, fucking us over and how it's not pretty out there. And, yeah, I want to say this again. Fuck ICE, bro. It's not, like, I don't know. Like, it's not right that, people, are, like, families are just getting torn apart simply because we look different than you.
Girl, please miss me with nonsense talking about Jesus. You never made one post talking about God. Now you want to talk about him? Girl, bye. When comedian Troy Bond talked about how he felt like Charlie deserved it, well, he also got a ton of backlash.
What'd he say?
Charlie Kirk was a father and a husband, and that is absolute tragic because he was also a giant piece of shit. And
that's also wrong. You can't be...
Charlie Kirk was a father...
Okay, last thing I'll say, Charlie Kirk was a father and a husband. That is absolutely tragic because he was also a giant piece of shit. Yeah, I see why you got backlash. That's fucking... that's the day he died. That's kind of fucked up to say that.
Father and a husband, and that is absolute tragic because he was also a giant piece of shit. In response, he lost over 100,000 followers overnight.
My God. Damn. Over Charlie Kirk?
Though he deleted a lot of his hate tweets, the fans remembered. So this is it.
Yeah, I mean... So this is it, deleting and then just posting random shit in hopes of people forgetting.
Deleting and then just posting random shit in the hopes people forgot? Bro fell off so bad. Hope the career was fun while it lasted.
I don't even know who the fuck this guy is. How the fuck did he fall off?
The point is, there's no winning in this. Sometimes the best thing...
It's a lose-lose situation.
...to say is nothing at all. And usually I never get political on this channel, nor do I share my beliefs because I'm not really the most intelligent with that type of stuff. But
me neither. But I know that I don't agree... Shit that Charlie Kirk says, I don't agree with. I know the shit Charlie Kirk said on his podcast in the past. It's something that is too extreme that I do not believe in.
I have no shame in admitting that I was not a fan of Charlie.
And yes, guys, I am a liberal.
In fact, I despise Charlie, not because of his political views of abortion or Trump or whatever, but because of what he contributed to. Charlie was one of those political influencers who contributed a lot to the extreme division of this country. Charlie, without a doubt, was a radical, a guy who always took to his side of the spectrum no matter what, which I don't like. I tend not to...
Yeah.
Trust any political influencers who really strictly identify themselves with one side because they have an agenda. If they build a brand about being a liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, whatever, then they're automatically going to have a conflict of interest when it comes to the integrity. They will only make content that supports that side and that side only. People like Charlie don't try to sell you information, they try to sell you emotions. They try to make you feel a certain way so that you engage with their posts and back them up. And most of the time, this is usually in the form of outrage. The sign says it all. Posts that cause people to be angry have a 27 times more likelihood of actually getting engagement. There's an old saying that nothing brings together people more than a common enemy, and that has never been more relevant today. We see politicians and figures have their main arguments be how bad the other side is and how they're ruining the country. You see this everywhere. Charlie Kirk is always ranting about how the left is ruining America. Dean Withers is always complaining about how Trump and how the Republicans are ruining the country. This goes beyond social...
Yeah, everybody's just fucking fighting each other when we're supposed to be united as one. Because we're America, after all. We're supposed to be the greatest country in the world.
Social media. Look at TV programs. CNN is always posting...
Or at least that's what I thought of.
About how a white cop shot a black guy. Fox is always talking about how cancel culture ruins something that we like. But the problem is that these guys never criticize themselves because it's going to make them look bad and it will hurt their money. This happens on both sides all the time. When Brett Cooper, a conservative creator, expressed how she agreed with Jeffree Star and how trans kids should not transition at a young age, she got a lot of backlash for simply agreeing with the guy.
I feel like that's a normal take to have, though.
All the time. When Brett Cooper, a conservative creator, expressed how she agreed with Jeffree Star and how trans kids should not transition at a young age, she got a lot of backlash for simply agreeing with the guy. Late night TV hosts like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, and Stephen Colbert only talked about Trump when he was in office. When Trump wasn't in office, who do they talk about? Not Biden, only Trump. Every single night. These people have one priority, and that's the business.
Okay, I have one more thing to say, and you can disagree with me all you want. Actually, alright, so Jimmy Kimmel went on, his show and, did his usual shit. He talked about the Charlie Kirk stuff. And I saw the clip. I didn't find it to be fair, late night talk show hosts fell off, in my opinion. They've been falling off for a while, but I don't think what Jimmy Kimmel said was, that bad. In my opinion, I feel like the jokes he said were mainly towards Trump for not giving a fuck about Charlie Kirk dying. Then he's not joking about Charlie Kirk being dead. I don't think he was trying to make a joke of Charlie Kirk dying. He was just taking shots at Trump for not giving a fuck about Charlie Kirk dying. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and the suspension. Oh yeah, and that caused Jimmy Kimmel to get suspended on his late night talk show host to get that caused him to get suspended. That's fucking bullshit, dude. I understand you don't like what he said and shit. Again, just like the Charlie Kirk shit, you can just say it's gay and just turn it off or some shit. You can go watch YouTube or something. But having celebrating this guy's suspension for this shit, having this guy suspended, that's a threat. In my opinion, that is low-key a threat to freedom of speech. The same crowd that is always advocating for freedom of speech. I understand freedom of consequences exists too, but again, this is the same. It's not like he said crazy shit on that fucking show. He was just making jokes and shit, which is not. I don't believe it was the expense of Charlie Kirk. It was mainly towards, I guess, Trump for not giving a damn.
I'm not saying these guys completely fake their persona or anything, but when money is a motive, authenticity and integrity takes a backseat. Okay, that's enough of the side rant. I'm going to take off my tinfoil hat for now. My point is that Charlie contributed a lot to the negative division of this country. But does that mean
is true?
He deserved to get shot in front of his wife and
Nope.
kids? Absolutely not. Charlie said things that are very easy to disagree with, and how you view that is subjective. It's easy to justify killing someone when they are the cause for other people dying, like the mustache man who got rejected from art
Yeah, that guy's death is actually justified.
School or serial killers. We can all agree
Yeah, those two people that he just listed, those are like actual deaths that should be like celebrated and that should be like justified.
those guys
Not fucking gay political rage baiter Charlie Kirk. Actually,
deserve to die because they took other innocent lives. But Charlie Kirk has never done that to anyone, or at least not that I know of. He simply had different political opinions, and that itself is not a crime. The most ironic part of this is that this did not accomplish what many of Charlie's haters thinks it accomplishes. If you really believe that getting Charlie shot was going to somehow reduce any type of hate or any Republican
yeah.
opinions, you are very far from wrong.
In fact, it probably increases it.
This has only strengthened it. When MLK got shot, did that end his message for the world and suddenly everyone became more racist? No, if anything, it only solidified his legacy. Now, do not interpret that as me trying to put Charlie Kirk on the same level as MLK. That is not what I'm trying to say. The point is that you can kill a person, but you cannot kill their ideas. This did not change anyone's minds. The same
Like, you can kill the man, but like the idea. Oh my gosh, when is that? I saw this one meme image. It's not a meme. I know this is not a meme, but like I saw this one image where it's like you can kill the man, but the idea is still there and shit. I don't know. I'll find the image.
people who had conservative and democratic opinions beforehand have only been further fueled now. And actually, if anything, people with hardcore liberal views have now been starting to question a little bit of their own opinions. And the very thing that I despise Charlie for has actually only become worse: division. This has only fueled more and more aggression in the country. Republicans now want to blame the left for assassination culture and how
Even though the fucking shooter was like, well, I guess his family was like Republican, but like his fucking, what's it called? His beliefs? I don't know, nor care, because again, beliefs don't fucking matter in this case, because both sides could be awful, guys. Shocker.
how can we blame them? How are we as a country ever going to solve real issues if we can't even stop fucking fighting each other in Twitter comment sections? The problem is not the left or the right. It's all directions, people. Mark my words, the problems that have surrounded Charlie have only just begun. We're going to see a massive increase in even more political division, but there is a way to prevent this. We need to stop seeing each other as an enemy and as a team member. We all live in the same country. We need to start acting like it. When you see someone with different opinions, view it as an opportunity to learn, not as an opportunity to hate. The only
You could also challenge those person's opinions. You could also like if you're really open to it, you can challenge the guy's opinion. Be like, hey, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Like, I'm genuinely curious. And then you guys can have a conversation. And hey, maybe you can turn your right wing neighbor into a liberal.
way that we grow as people is by challenging each other's ideas. If you have a belief that's hard to defend or justify, well, maybe it's time to start questioning it. You don't help yourself or anyone else by villainizing someone who has different opinions than you. If anything, you only further strengthen it. I'm not going to tell you how you should feel about Charlie's death. If you don't want to feel bad for him getting shot, that's up to you. But I will tell you is that this will not be a solution to anything. At the end of the day, celebrating over someone's death says a lot more about your values than it ever did about theirs.
All right. Yeah, so basically, yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can feel whatever you can feel about Charlie Kirk's death. You're allowed to feel bad for him. You're allowed to not feel bad for Charlie Kirk. But celebrating his death, in my opinion, is kind of pathetic, not going to lie to you.